project. And let's see, I know I saw them there. Here we are. Okay. Standing by.
Hello.
Hey.
Good evening. How you
Good
doing?
evening. I'm good. How are you?
Good
I'm fine.
evening.
Happy to be here.
We're glad to have you.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us. You'll have about 20 minutes to discuss your project, your film. And again, if everyone's just joining us, there's a Q&A box. If you want to participate there and submit questions, that's what that is for. And otherwise, I will let Nase do the introductions.
Awesome. So, hey everyone, my name is Nase DeSanders with the Bushwick Film Festival, and we have Rodrigo Ruiz Patterson with us, the writer and director of Summer White or Blanco de Verano. So, Rodrigo, could you tell us a little bit about your film and about who you are?
Well, I'm Rodrigo Ruiz Patterson from Mexico. I'm the writer director of the film. This is a film produced by with government money, and it started out as this trip that I made to my childhood. I wrote a lot about my childhood. It was my first feature film, so I wanted to be like a personal film. So I started out writing about a lot of my childhood and a lot of stuff, and then I got this first draft for a script, and it wasn't working really. And then I came to this friend, the other screenwriter, and we kind of figured out that my life wasn't that interesting. So we decided to make a fiction, like make it more fictionate, in to have a better film in the drama wise, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how it started. But it's a film like I mean I think it's a very existentialist film. I mean, so thanks to Bushwick Film Festival for having the film and screening it. It's a real great honor and pleasure to be here with you.
Yeah, well, I absolutely love the film, and you pretty much already answered my first question. I was going to say that this coming of age tale feels extremely personal, and so it makes sense that you started out by basing it off of your own life. So what aspects of the film still have, stuff from your own life in it? What parts of it are from you, and which parts are fictionalized?
Yeah, not really. I think at the end, none of the scenes that you can see in the film, it's really, it did really happen, you know. But I say it has this like autobiographical scent, but not really anything like there. Like I have the experience of being shown how to drive my stepdad, for example, but not really turn out to be that way that you see in the film, you know. But I mean, I try to be really honest with this film. I try to try to have these characters that from their point of view, they're all right. You know, I didn't want to make this film with good people and bad people, you know. I mean, I wanted the characters to be complex and from their point of view, they are right in what they do, you know. I don't think that people just like are bad or good, you know. In Mexico we have like this soap opera culture, in my opinion, that it usually like the general audience start to watch a film, and if they don't recognize the rich, the poor, the bad, the billion, the good, they don't relate to the films, in my opinion. So this is a protest against that, you know. I think human beings are complex, and I try to portray that in the film.
I like that. That's really interesting. So can you tell us a little bit more about the writing process for such a character-driven drama?
Sure. I usually write monologues for the characters to begin with, not like before writing anything in the script. I just write that as a creative writing exercise to find the voice of the characters, their conflicts, their secrets, everything like that. And then I start to develop, and then I create these characters and I put them in a conflict situation, you know, and then I leave the characters to take the choices, you know. As I said, I think this is very existentialist in the terms that I think, and I believe that in my life, that people is what they do, and people is what the choices that they make, and we are condemned to be to the anguish of needing to take choices all the time, you know, even if we don't make any choices, that's a choice, you know.
Yes.
So that's the base of the script, you know. So first creating the characters, putting them in this conflict situation, and then trying to be involved as a screenwriter the less possible, you know, like trying to leave the characters the choices of the plot, you know.
Okay, wow, that's very interesting. So
Thank
I
you.
was reading some of the reviews for the film, and one was from a Thomas Laughley of Variety, and they said Patterson dances around tricky Freudian themes with nerve and grace, gradually approaching something astute about the boundaries and boundlessness of maternal affection. I thought phrasing your film as Freudian was very perfect and kind of comedic almost as well. When writing a story that centers around the relationship between a mother and child, do you consult any psychology to make the relationship more real, or are you doing it completely based off of your own life, or where is it coming from?
Well, I have this idea of what Freud says about like childhood and stuff. Like, not, I really didn't got like really deep about that. But of course, it's as Freudian as it can get. You know, this film, of course. I didn't want it to be as literal as that. You know, actually, there was a scene in the classroom at the beginning of the film where the kids were reading Oedipus. You know, like so I at the end, I don't know. I just like cut that out because I thought it was really very literal. You know, it was like,
Okay,
like,
too much.
if
Too
you
on the
didn't
nose.
notice, yeah, if you didn't notice, this is a Freudian film. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, okay, like we can tell. You know, so no, I just really maybe it sounds like really like a commonplace, but I just wanted to create interesting characters, but realistic, like extraordinary characters without them being unrealistic, you know, this combination, and let them make the decisions, trying to make their choices the best they can. They're all characters that they trying to go through life the best they can, making the choices they can, but in this situation of conflict, they're gonna clash at some point. You know, they're condemned to clash because they have different interests, and I think that's what we try to do from the beginning.
So earlier you were talking about how none of the characters are 100% in the right or the wrong, as they're complex characters, like real people. So I have a soft spot for kids who act out. So no matter how many like messed up things the son did, I was always like, oh, he just needs guidance. Like I'm always the one that like wants to take the kid's side. So what about you? Whose side are you on? The mom, the boyfriend, or the son?
Well, of course, I'm with the kid, you know, all the time. Yeah, but that's actually really interesting that you say that, because when we were casting for the film, it was a real long casting process. We saw around like 500 kids.
Oh, wow.
Like, yeah, we took like from 6 to 8 months of casting process, like every day watching kids doing them, like making do improv. But yeah, we figured that like if the kid was a bit older than what you see on screen, you could say like, oh, come on, like this teenager, like come on, boy, like let your mama have a life, you know?
Yeah.
So it's important the age, I think, for that like, so you can identify with him and not say like, come on, this little kid is just like a criminal, you know?
Yeah.
It's important that he's the age that he is. Like if he was 15, I think it would have not worked, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
how old was he? He was 13 during filming?
He turned 14.
Okay.
Like the actor turned 14 just a week before we start the shooting.
Okay,
so he was pretty much 13. So it was like the exact age for that character, because if he was younger, like all this sexual like subtext wouldn't be there, you know.
Yes,
It
exactly.
needed to be that exact age, you know.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if he was older as well, like the mother would be like, come on, mother, he's 15 and you're having a shower with the kid, you know, like
Yeah.
you wouldn't identify with the characters as well, you know.
Yes. Yeah, I thought, yeah, the aging was definitely perfect. So you saw 500 kids. How long did
Yes,
that take?
it's like 8 months more or less.
Oh my
Well,
God.
like having casting process like 3 times a week for 8 months.
Mm,
But yeah, we knew that like the face of a kid, it was that
very
the thing that it's gonna tell the story. So
yes.
we need that, as we say here in Mexico, that you need to put all the meat in the oven, you know, in
Uh-huh.
finding the kid. So actually, I have a trivia from that I repeat a lot in these interviews because I really find it amazing.
Please tell
But
us.
yeah, it's when I wrote the script, I didn't want to tell this story. Like I know that right now in this society, cell phones are, you know, like social media and cell phones are really present,
Mm,
especially in young kids. But I
mm,
didn't want to make this film about like shooting screens of cell phones, you know. So I said like, okay, what makes this character special? Like, okay, a young kid that doesn't have social media is like also like it's like a protest statement, you know,
yeah.
like nowadays. So I wrote that and I gave the screenplay to people to read it and give me
Mhm.
feedback. So a lot of people read it and said like, all right, yeah, like I really like your script, but it's really weird that you have a 14-year-old kid with no cell phone. I don't really believe that. And that was a common comment, like a common comment.
Really?
So yeah, so I was like kind of depressing, like, yeah, maybe they're right. And yeah, of course, there's no way that a kid can be nowadays without social media. That's not realistic, you know.
Mm.
And then when we found Adrian, the kid that finally played Rodrigo in the film, he didn't have a cell phone either or social media, you
Really?
know. So from all the 500 kids that I saw in casting, that we watched in casting, he was the only one that didn't have a cell phone. So that was one of the points that I take in consideration when I chose him.
That is so
Uh,
funny.
yeah, that's so funny. And the funniest part is, do you know what happened when the kid got his first salary of the film?
He bought a cell phone.
Yeah, of course. So
That is so
I
funny.
feel like I ruined his life, but
Oh
but
my
yeah,
gosh. Well, he's an
but yeah,
actor now. He needs a cell phone.
yeah, of course, he has a manager now and all.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow. So we have an
I
audience question here for you. It is still about the casting process, which is super
Sure.
interesting. Someone's asking, how did you come across the lead actor and what qualities were you seeking when casting this role, other than not having a cell phone?
Okay, that was very important.
Yeah,
No,
clearly.
no, of course. As I said, I think in Mexico we have this soap opera culture
Mhm.
really embraced in us. I don't know if it's a word to describe it really, but usually the kids that you find in Mexico, they are taught to have a result, you know, like they basically they teach them how to cry, you know.
Mm,
So they can't act, they have a result in mind, you know. So I didn't want to have an actor kid, you know. I wanted to have just like a normal kid.
yeah.
And then the characteristics that I was looking for in him was, I guess, to be a really sensitive kid
Hmm.
with that he was really sensitive, also intelligent,
Hmm.
and of course, I wanted to have a kid that was dying to do the film
Yeah.
also. I think that's very important, and sometimes the people don't look at it, but it's really important that if you're gonna shoot for 6 weeks on like this 12-hour day work days and
Yeah.
all, you need to have a kid that it's really dying to do the film,
Yeah.
because it can be pretty romantic to say that, yeah, I'm gonna make a film, but then if you go there and then you find out that it's not as cool as you thought it would be,
Hmm.
maybe in two weeks it's like, oh yeah, I'm bored, I don't want to do this film anymore, you know, it's
Yeah.
not what I thought. So I think Adrian was really, I'm really grateful to him, because he was really he was really in the moment. He really put a lot of effort and a lot of feeling and a lot of heart in the film. So that was it. The casting process, we made improv, like not scenes from the film, just like improv and see how it go. And at the end, we chose 4 kids from all the pool that we saw in this 8 months, and we made this with an acting coach, made this like workshop with the kids with theater and improv exercises at the end. We decided to Adrian to play the character.
Nice. Well, you
Yeah.
definitely chose the right kid. It came out perfectly. I love it. So
Thank you.
I have a question. This is more a question for you, not really related to the film. But what is a
Okay.
director, or who is a director that inspires you in your work?
Wow, that's a very good question because there is a lot of directors.
Mm-hmm.
For this film, I guess the first 2 that comes to my mind is John Cassavetes,
Mm-hmm.
the American filmmaker. I really like his movies and his philosophy through film. He says that maybe this is like too method actor, but it's he said like I'm not gonna tell my actors that they drunk, I'm just gonna put a bottle in front of them,
Mm-hmm.
So he's like the master of improv in this film, not in the actual scenes because all that you see is written in the script, but all the rehearsals and all the casting process was a lot of improvisation.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be one influence for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And another one would be Francois Truffaut, the French director
Mm-hmm.
from Nouvelle Vague. I always like his films. Actually, the 400 Blows, it's a really important reference for this film.
Mm-hmm.
So I think his films are very intimate and full of heart. So I wanted to put that in my film.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, well, I could keep going with this all day. There's a lot of people that I love the films that they make and that inspire me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a more recent influence would be this Italian American, I think, director named Roberto Minervini.
Mm-hmm.
He makes these films that they combine documentary with fiction. It's like
Mm-hmm.
documentary characters, but put in fictional situations.
Mm-hmm.
In particular, he has this film named Low Tide about
Mm-hmm.
a mom and a kid that it's super good and like really mind-blowing, heart-blowing. That it was a film that we watched a couple of times to try to get something from that. I really admire that film and I find it to be really, really interesting and really potent. So that would be another influence for the film.
Nice. Those are good answers.
Thank you.
Lovely. So can you tell us what you're currently working on or what's next for you?
Yeah, well, it's been a weird year due to the virus and all. So I'm working in several projects, either for to I don't know how to say this, but like to get money, not personal projects, and also it took me a lot to find my next personal project. But I'm writing right now. I'm involved in this TV series about this famous comedian murder in Mexico City in the 90s.
Oh wow.
So that's one of it. Another one is an English language film, a really small scale, character driven dramedy.
Nice. That's how we like it.
Yeah. Let's see how it goes because it's different. I'm not absolutely confident about that, but I'm getting to it. And yeah, and another one, it's like this film, like historical film. It's about like this kind of Western that happens in 1916 in the Mexican Revolution, in the war. It's a small scale about it's a feminist Western, you can say that, about 3 women that are looking for this bandit, that affect them personally. They team up to find this bandit, and it's a very political film, and it talks about what that revolution in Mexico at the beginning. It was the first social revolution of the 20th century, so it has this interesting political context. So that would be like the three projects that I'm working on right now.
Nice. That all sounds really interesting. So how can we find you? How do we keep up with everything you have going on? Your social media, you have a website? Let us know.
Yeah, I have an Instagram page. It's named El Tonayon.
You gotta spell that for us.
Yeah, I'm gonna write this here in the chat.
Okay, good. So everyone follow.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, I like to take pictures also of my lab, so that's where they go, and all the screenings and all my next projects are there if you're interested, and yeah, it will be a pleasure to have you there and keep you posted about what's next.
Fantastic. We'll be watching very closely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here. It's been great.
No, thanks for having me, and it's really a great pleasure, and it's a shame I couldn't get to go this year in person.
Yeah.
But it will be great for another year for the next film or so I can visit the festival and get to know you in person.
Absolutely.
It will be amazing, and thanks for all the audience for watching the film, and I hope you like the film. It's a film made with little money, but with a lot of love from a lot of people. So I hope that translates out of the screen. So thanks for having us and having the film.
Absolutely. It absolutely does translate. We see all the love and care that's been put into it. So thank you again, Rodrigo. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye. See you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you so
problem.
much.
Thanks for the invitation. Bye-bye. Hasta luego. Adios.
Adios.
Ciao.
That was a great interview.
Yeah.